Hi everybody, I'm Carl and welcome back to Knack 3D Designs. Yeah, I know it's been a while since I did any videos, but really didn't have anything new to show you till now. Thanks to the people over at BIQU, they've sent me their new resin printer, the Pixel L. So let's see what kind of features it's got before I unbox this thing. It's got a 9.1 inch 4K mono screen, so we should get some good lifetime out of that screen. It's got a heated vat, so we're going to get that resin to a nice, warm, flowing temperature. Really going to help people out like me that are printing in their dark, dreary, cold basements. Anyway, it's got 220 by 196 by 122 build volume. It's got micrometer leveling. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we're going to figure it out. It's got a 900 milliliter capacity vat, and it also has auto resin feed, so we're going to be able to take it way beyond that 900 milliliter if we want and get some really big prints out of it. And it's also got filtered air removal from the build chamber. They're saying it's going to take 70% of the fumes off of the air before it releases it into your makerspace. I'm looking forward to that because, again, in my basement, running exhaust fans, and I'm still having problems with fumes with some of these resins. So I'm hoping that's going to work out real good for us. So now it's time to take this thing out of the box. And I'm, well, noticing one more problem. Sealing. I'm not gonna be able to lift the box off of it. I'm not gonna be able to open up and get everything out because, again, printer's gonna hit the ceiling. I can only come up with one solution. Now, we've seen me levitate boxes on my hand using the force. I'm gonna try and up my game and see if I can't, using the force, will this box out of existence. All right, you ready? I'm gonna do it. I know I can do this. I've been practicing. There we go. I did it. I made the box disappear. I'm so proud of myself. Anyway, if you really want to see how I got this thing out of the box, stay tuned. That's coming up next. All right, so let's get this thing unboxed. Now, normally you just open the top, lift this thing out, or cut around the bottom and lift the box off. But unfortunately, basement ceiling's a little low for that. So I'm gonna have to do this a little more creatively. What I'm gonna do is I cut the back corner of the box here on each side. Sorry, I did do this once before and I realized I didn't have my mic on, so you're gonna have to live with me pretending I cut it again. Anyway, so now let's see if we can't get this thing out of here. Open the back up, spin this around, see if I can't slide this whole thing out of here. All right, so step one done. Oh, nice red cover. Don't know how I'm supposed to take this off of here. See, these hinges are going to cause me grief, so let's. All right. Let's get this out of the way. Sorry, I'm looking for something to lay on here so I don't scuff this up. Knights wore red shirt, that should work. Sorry, I got stuff in there to unpack. Our build plate. I'm assuming this is a spare FEP. And I guess from here, I'm lifting it out. Somehow. Maybe. Isn't this always the fun part, getting it out of the foam? Where I wish I had an assistant. Wouldn't that be nice? There we go. So there's our printer. Let's see what we have in here. Hopefully some instructions. We have a box. And inside said box we have user manual. Yay! Resin container, power cord, so it uses a laptop style power supply. Our leveling micrometers, scraper spatula, another spatula, some screws and nuts, and Allen wrenches and screwdrivers, and it looks like a thumb drive and everything. Some filter masks, or I'm sorry, some resin filters, paint filters. Some breathing masks. Looks like some latex gloves. And our faithful handy dandy blue handle snippers. All right, so I'm going to take the masks, I'm going to set these aside for now. I'm going to set these filters aside and the gloves. And really, I probably don't need these spatulas right now and the clippers. And I will probably need the reading glasses. Most important factor. Wow. Okay. So where's the beginning? Okay, it says step 1, remove the nuts and remove the resin vat. I don't think I can do that with this here though. How am I supposed to do that? Okay, so we're going to come back to that step. So I'm assuming we're going to need power to get that resin vat out of there. Okay, so yeah, we don't want to, I'm not even going to deal with getting the machine print ready right now. Though I wonder when I'm supposed to install those micrometers, because I don't see that on the instructions either. And it doesn't talk about putting on the top either. All right, well, this looks like it's more instructions for how to level, you know, how to do the final assembly and level the bed, not how to mount the top and how to install these micrometers. So I'm gonna do some little research and I'll be right back. All right, well, couldn't really find anything to tell me how to install these, so I'm gonna have to message BIQU. But I did find some instructions that say to use Allen wrenches and some wrenches and bolt these on. So guess I'm gonna do that. Let's just dump all this out. SanDisk thumb drive, good to have. Okay, let's see. I'm assuming these are spare FEP screws. These must hold on the build plate. A pair of tweezers or something. All right, so I should have 4 screws and 4 nuts. Looks like what I got. Which wrench do I need? I need this one and this one. And I'm sure this is going to be a very fun job to do by myself. I'm going to try and get one started on each side here. And pray I don't crack the plexiglass doing this. This should at least help me keep it in place while I tighten the nuts. So it looks like I got 2 snug here. Let's see how it sits. Obviously not where we want it. So I'm completely confused because the hinge has recesses for the screws. Use those recesses for the screws and the screws are too far out. So I'm guessing the box is supposed to go on the outside of the hinges, not the inside of the hinges, and I missed that in the description or in the video when I was watching it. So I guess I'm taking this all back apart. Yay. All right, so let's try this again, putting the lid on the outside of the hinge. And that lines up correctly. So the hinge goes on the inside of the plastic case when you guys do this. Now I have 3 more screws to put in, and then make sure it's all lined up right. Right, this is not working for me. Nice wrench, it fits, but it's not helping me in the slightest. I'm hoping this is the right size. Oh, and it is. See if I can do it quicker using my nozzle wrench. Wow, that worked much easier. That wasn't the plastic cracking, that was the nozzle wrench clicking. Seems like that's a safe torquing amount, as it didn't crack the plastic, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that on the other ones. All right, so there's the cover. Tip that back. Now, looking at the video, it just looks like these are threaded all the way down in. Well, the threads spin with this sleeve, so you got to back the micrometer pretty much all the way out so you can get your fingers on this. I'm going to start in the back so it's easier, obviously. There, and that's bottomed out. So I got those on there. Oh, can't forget the peeling the plastic. All right, so we can get the build plate in, I'm gonna go ahead and get us some power to this thing. All right, gonna flip the switch. Let's cross our fingers here. And it's in Chinese. Let's see if I can figure this out. Guessing the little gear is settings. I'm hoping that's language. How about English? Confirm. All right, there we go. Now I can read everything. Let's go back. Tools. I'm going to manually move it up. All right, that should be enough room to get this out. And we have another piece of film to peel off. So satisfying. Now we can go back to these instructions maybe. All right, it says grab the build platform and oh look, more protective film. I love it. Protect the film off the build platform. We did that. And then mount the build platform with the screw connector. All right, so let's see. Looks like that. There are the two screws that I said were for the build platform. And it says to place a piece of A4 paper on the screen. Now I'm looking around for A4 paper. Please hold while I go get some A4 paper. All right, so just to be safe, I got 2 sheets of paper. I'd rather level a little high the first time than anything. So we got our 2 sheets of paper in there. Place A4 paper on the board screen. Step 4. Where we're at now is over here. Connect power supply, switch on, interface as shown. So I want to go back to the main screen. Click Tools. Click Manual. And I don't think I want to click Home yet, I haven't loosened any screws, and I know in the video it said to loosen some screws. Yeah, don't think so. Yeah, so nowhere did it tell me to loosen these 4 screws that I know in the video it told me to loosen these 4 screws. So again, BIQU, the instructions aren't quite covering it. Yeah, so I want to loosen this build platform right here. There we go. So now it's moving free. Now I'm going to hit home. And it's these 4 screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cross your fingers, we don't break the screen. All right, now it says to spiral the micrometer thimbles. Rotate the top 3 micrometers on the screw connector and ensure the thimble contacts the build platform rack. Check whether the platform fits evenly with paper. And in the video it tells you to do that till you hear it click. Hope you can hear that. And it worries me that that one's already tight. So I'm going to loosen all these again and tell it to home again. All right, and then it says to tighten the 4 screws. Now, looking at the directions, it looks like they're saying to actually insert these 4 screws, so they're going on the premise they weren't even in there to begin with. Again, that's not how it was sent to me though, so got to fix that problem. Okay, fix those screws. And it tells me to click home again. All right, then it says to go ahead and move it up to a safe position. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm going to run it all the way up just because I want to see what happens. Question is now, will it stop me? Yes, it will. It will not let me bottom out. Now the question is, do these stay on? Will the lid close with it all the way up? Yes, it will. So I guess those can stay on. All right, so we got it leveled. Now we got our resin vat to put back on. And here is our autofill cap for this little bottle here, I guess. And it just looks like it snaps and locks in place. So you would push it down and twist it till it locks in. Little 1/4 turn lock. We'll take that out for now. And it does seem to be keyed. It locks into a specific position. Now clearly it does not like the vat being out when it's turned on. I'm going to hope that E0 goes away and it gives us a reading from this if I cycle the power. And it does. It's telling us it's sitting at 25 degrees Celsius. So we can run this as a heated vat, and we'll have to play with the settings and everything when I go do some prints. But for now, it looks like we are done the assembly and the unboxing. Now I'm gonna go move this into my resin table and do some test prints. We'll see you in a little bit. All right, so I'm back from putting this thing through its paces. And first off, let me say, yes, I did re-level it with just one sheet of paper. Another thing I discovered when reading through the instructions is, if you recall, I had to cycle the power to get this display to read properly for the heated vat. Well, if you hit the plus and minus buttons at the same time, that will also reset it and give you a proper reading. Now, I was talking about this thing had filtered air that was supposed to remove 75% of all fumes. Well, that's done with this little air filter located right here on the back panel. You can remove these two screws. And there's a little pull tab right here. And here's the filter they've got. Looks like a carbon or charcoal activated filter. Now, with some of the newer resins that I had, it seemed to work really well. But the minute I started using some of my old ABS-like and my Ceratec Blue and Tenacious, it quickly filled up my entire basement with fumes. Well, those are pretty smelly resins, so I kind of expected as much. And well, you know me, I like to upgrade things. So I made a quick little upgrade, and I will post links to it in the description below. I created this nice little snap-on magnetic duct vent for it. Just uses some standard neodyne 1/2-inch magnets, 6 of them. It's designed and it's keyed to go right around the on-off switch here and lock on to the back. Once it's in place, you can lock it in. And then I have some 2-inch dust removal ducting, and I made a 90-degree adapter for it, and then this hooks up right to my exhaust fan that I have above my resin printing table, and it just locks right in. Once I hooked this up, I had 0 fumes in my basement, and I printed, you're gonna see I printed quite a lot of stuff. But so this takes care of the fumes problem if you want to use some of the smellier resins. And then the last thing I did, which is just a personal thing for me, my resin printing table is not perfectly level. And I like the printers that have adjustable feet. Well, I found somebody who created some adjustable feet for the Mars, and I had adapted the design to work with this. You can remove the feet, put on the new ones, and then it's just, you can just adjust them with this wrench so you can level the printer once it's on your table. Now, these feet and that fan duct were also printed on this printer in a nice 50/50 Tenacious and red, clear red resin. And now, well, I guess I'll just show you everything else I printed. All right, my first print was the pre-sliced teddy bear that came with the printer. The movement speeds on the Z-axis were pretty high, and it made the Z motor resonate in the all-metal housing. I also had some issues with the bear not adhering real well. I sanded the build plate, and that fixed that problem. My next print was the Crystal Dragon by Cinderwing 3D. This printed great, but sadly when I tried to break it apart and articulate the dragon, it just broke apart. I think this was my settings more than anything else. I did slow down the movement speeds, and that did eliminate the Z resonance that I was experiencing before. The next print was the Three Storms by Magnet.
Who's that?
Now, as you can see here, the Three Storms took up the whole build plate and even printed over some of the screws securing the build plate together. They turned out great. I printed them completely solid, and I also did play around with some of the liche settings, trying to speed things up a little bit and yet still not get that loud resonance. I did move my travel speeds up to 150 millimeters, and it came out great, as you can see here. And my next print was the Beard Skull by RogiStudios. The first failure on the left was due to a file corruption. I don't know why it skipped that spot. The second fail to the right was because I just ran out of resin. As you can see here though, after mixing up a new batch, it came out wonderfully. Alright, to summarize the BIQU Pixel Oil, the heated vat and the auto resin feed features worked great. The filtered air with some of the newer, lower odor resins will probably work just fine. With what I was using, I think it was just a little more odor than that filter could handle. The only hardware issue I really had was having to sand the build plate to get the prints to adhere, and after that it was no issues at all. Now, if you print at the max speeds that they had their test file set at, that Z motor will resonate in the all metal housing, but slowing the speeds down just a little bit seems to completely eliminate that problem. I had no issues. I couldn't hear it in the next room when it was running. Everything I printed, links will be in the description below, including the files I created for the upgrades for the feet and for that venting duct. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you again real soon.